with it. A lot of guys will carry like this, but then when they go do their training or their competition, they want to put on an outside the waistband holster here. Well, you're not training with this. You're not defeating the garment, right? You're not practicing one-handed draw strokes. And so that all comes into play. We do need to make sure that we're safely training with that appendix carry. With appendix carry, under no circumstances do I use a leather holster. I always, without exception, use a Kydex holster. That gun gets married to a Kydex holster and they do not leave because the safety aspects of appendix carry, they're so much more damaging if you were to have a negligent discharge or an accidental discharge of that gun going off in your pants. And so because of that, we also only use high quality firearms. Now, I'm an advocate for high quality firearms anyways, but we only use high quality tested defensive carry firearms. We don't use the new whiz-bang Whackmaster 3000 because we just don't know what's going to happen with it, right? So we saw issues with accidental discharges with the SIG 320. I'm a SIG fan, guys. That's not a big deal, but the simple fact is that their initial batches had some accidental discharges going off, and I do not want that to go off right there. That would be a huge problem, and so we use quality, time-tested guns specifically in that position because it is so damaging if that round were to go off. Like I said, you're either going to bleed or you're going to lose some parts that you don't want to lose, okay? So appendix carry is a great option, but you do have to mess with it a little bit, make sure that you get that in a comfortable position. Now, moving on from that, we come to some that I don't necessarily recommend, but that are viable options, right? And one of those being a shoulder holster, whether it's a shoulder holster with a vertical cant or a horizontal cant, right? So the gun facing out backwards or facing vertical. There are some arguments because if we do a horizontal cant, my gun is facing everybody behind me, and so I'm flagging everybody behind me. Obviously here, we also have to be wearing a coat, so that does come into play. But where this really comes in beneficial is actually in two specific scenarios that I have found in my life. One is driving. If I was an over-the-road trucker and I was driving all over the place, I would rock a shoulder holster all day long because it's probably by far the most comfortable way to keep that gun on you in your vehicle, to get out, get gas, go in, get your lickies and chewies or whatever from the gas station, and then be able to have that gun on you by doing nothing more than throwing on a a flannel shirt or jacket or a button down of some sort, right? It keeps that gun relatively concealed.